Good morning, everybody, or should I say good afternoon, wherever you are watching from. It is the 22nd of September. It is 1 p.m. It is autumn, I believe now. It is a nice balmy 25 degrees here. I hope wherever you are enjoying the fact that it is Friday. Today on the show, we have got the markets to look at. Again, Bitcoin is struggling at 26.6. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at the Dixie as well. Some news about Bitcoin. We're going to look at Link again. Link is now starting to involve itself in more and more chains. Is Link going to be a big runner in the next bull run? Then we're going to look at some news from, I believe it's South Korea, and they are building on Sui, which is, if you've watched this channel before, you will know that we are fairly confident that Sui is going to be a decent chain in the future. Then we're going to look at some bull news, bull market news, should I say. And then we have a few more pieces of news. We're going to look at the FCA in the UK and whale hunting. What have the whales been buying? Before all of that, I'd like to welcome you all here. There's plenty of people in chat saying hello today. So good morning to all the regulars. Nice to see you here. There are some comments which I cannot find, but you know who we are. Or we know who you are, should I say. So thanks for joining. Remember, a two-way stream. Anything you want to talk about, drop a comment into chat and we will give you a shout out. We'll answer your questions. Remember, there's no stupid questions, only stupid answers on this channel. And that's it pretty much. We're going to get on to have a look at the markets. Then we're going to go through what I've just been talking about. And in about 45 minutes time, maybe 50 minutes time today, we're a bit slower on Fridays, we're going to have a crack at a crypto quiz. Crypto quiz is a bit of fun. It's not meant to trick you or catch you out or anything like that. It's just to ask you some general crypto questions and brush up on your crypto knowledge. So where are we in the markets? Well, as you can see, Bitcoin is fighting away at 26.6 and has been since the FOMC news came out. There's been some other things which we're going to look at. The strength of the Dixie, again, we're going to look at that, which has pushed Bitcoin down just under 27,000 to 26.6. I have a chart that I go over every few days to explain where we are and why we are where we are. In terms of market cap, we're down just over 1% to 1.05 trillion. Hasn't really moved a great deal. There isn't a lot to talk about in volume. Bitcoin dominance is starting to creep up. Remember, a couple of weeks ago it was at 48.8, it's now 49.2. Bitcoin dominance is starting to creep up. Are we going to see 53, 54%? Are we going to see 52%? Who knows? But Bitcoin dominance is going to shoot up. ETH dominance is starting to fall away. If you look at the last 30 days, Bitcoin has gained 2.5% in that time. Ethereum has lost 4%. So Bitcoin is starting to break away a little bit from Ethereum, and it's all much of a muchness. None of this is going to really matter in the short term. You've got to think about really in the long term. 24-hour gainers, Zilliqa, Terra Classic, Curve DAO, Ape. I mean, it's up 3 and a bit percent, but don't forget it's also fallen 25% in a month. Conflux, Algo is struggling at 10 cents. I remember thinking that Algo was a good buy at 20 cents. So 10 cents for me is an absolute steal. It's not even got a $1 billion market cap. It's signed a deal with the World Economic Forum. It's going to go places. Stellar is there again. Stellar, I remember Stellar being 18-25 cents. It's cheap as chips, as they say. In terms of coins that have fallen, not many really. Cosmos is down 4%. Rocket Pool, Aster, Nexo, nothing's really down on the whole. So the markets are so. There isn't really a lot to write home about on that. So what we'll do is we'll move on to the Bitcoin news. Now, for those of you new to the show, we do a hybrid show. So as well as having the latest news, we try and tie the latest news to the price action. So for most of the coins that we're going to look at, we're going to look at some news and then we're going to look at the price action. That's how we work on this channel. We're not a TA channel. We're not technical analysts. We look at the trends in the market and try and show you where things could possibly go. Now, we are going to look at two charts to do with Bitcoin, because I'm going to show you the Dixie chart, the DXY, which many of you may or may not know about. So I'm going to go through that in a minute. First of all, Bitcoin slides to $26,500 amid surging US dollar. Record high rates are a nightmare for crypto firms. The 10-year Treasury rate surged to a 16-year high, and equity markets selling off could push Bitcoin lower, one trading firm says. Remember, the higher the Treasury rates, the higher the bond yields, the more attractive they are as an alternative to investing in stocks. Remember, stocks can go up and down fairly rapidly. Bonds and Treasury yields are kind of like fixed, not necessarily fixed term deposits, but they're more like savings bonds. You know you're going to get 5 or 6%. When those drop to 2 or 3%, that's when the stock market becomes more attractive, because many stocks pay dividends as well as capital appreciation. So it's kind of, you have to find an equilibrium between bonds, treasuries and stocks, and at the minute it's all favouring bonds. So Bitcoin is slid to 26.5. Fed's higher for longer stance puts pressure on crypto firms. Equity sell-off could drag Bitcoin price lower, which I have been saying for a few weeks now. I'll also show you that on the charts in a minute. ETH has taken a bit of a nosedive. It's at a 14-month low now against Bitcoin, which is interesting, because I remember the time when Ether was 0.1 of a Bitcoin, or 10 Ethereum, for example, was 1 Bitcoin. Now I think we're looking at maybe 14 or 15 or even 16 Ethereum per Bitcoin. So Ether has fallen in comparison to Bitcoin. I'm not expecting that to happen in the bull run, however. I'm expecting ETH to outperform Bitcoin. Solana's down. We know about all of the coins falling, and this is the reason. The Fed projected one more rate hike this year and less cuts for next year, which stirred the markets. Now the reason is next year is election year in America. Joe Biden is going up against possibly Kennedy for his own position in the Democrats. You've then got DeSantis and Trump and Vivek on the Republicans, I believe. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch. And in a political, or in an election year, what you would expect to see is rates to be cut. Now, the Fed are never going to talk in a positive light before they decide what they're going to do. So expect another rate hike, because that's what they've said. But also expect rates to be cut by March, April next year. They will not be cutting rates in September and October for the first time, because the election is only in November. And Biden and the Democrats will want to show the economy is in a good position by the time it comes to elections. So by summer next year, we should see some serious falls in interest rates, not just in America, but also in Europe and the UK. Japan is a different kettle of fish, which we're not going to go into. But that's where we are with the news on this. I don't want to go into too much depth on that. What I am going to do is I think this is the wrong one, but we'll bring it up anyway. This should be the BTC chart. Okay, so the one thing that I've been talking about since about here, which is about a week ago, I've been saying that the chances are we're going to stay under the bull market support band for a considerable amount of time. The bull market support band is something that we face a constant battle with. When we're above it, we bounce off it to go higher, like a trampoline. When we're below it, it's like trying to submerge under a block of ice. It's impossible to break at the first time of action. So we've come down, we've tested. There's only one direction now for Bitcoin, and that's down, in my opinion. There's nothing to push the price up from where we are now. So whatever the news in the macro environment, you have to look at that hand in hand with where Bitcoin is going. There's an equity sell-off. The DXY, let me show you the DXY to explain a little bit about that. Basically, the DXY is the strength of the dollar versus all of the, this one, we'll pick this one for example, is the strength of the US dollar versus all other currencies. So for example, it's made up of 5% British pound, 10% Japanese yen, 10% Swiss franc, 20% euro, all of those coupled together against the value of the dollar. That's what the DXY is, the Dixie as it's called. Now what you'll see, again very similar to Bitcoin, it's hit resistance, it's not managed to get across, it's hit resistance again, it's come down, and now we've broken out. Now we want this to fall considerably. We want the Dixie to be coming down to around this level here, 96, 97, 98, because that shows weakness in the dollar, and weakness in the dollar gives Bitcoin a huge surge. If you plot the Dixie against Bitcoin over a long period of time, you will see a correlation. So the correlation is the Dixie goes up, Bitcoin goes down. The Dixie is going up, Bitcoin is going down. For this period of time, however, both went up. There was a little bit of a decoupling, but now I think we're starting to see a fall in the price of Bitcoin, because this is likely to rally. Now, where is it likely to rally to? If we look back to November last year, we managed to break as high as 114. Are we going to get that high? Maybe. Could we see something like this, hit this resistance and come down? Yes, we could. Now, if that happens, that's the end of the year. What I'm expecting to happen for Bitcoin by the end of the year is something quite similar in reverse. So I think that what we are likely to see is some kind of, let's put the right thing in to start with. I'm going to see some kind of fall. Maybe we find resistance at 25, maybe we come down to 23. If we look at the volume area profile, we could come all the way down to about 20,000, which I've been saying for a long time. Then I think towards the end of the year, I think we're going to have a rally. And I think what we're going to do is maybe have some kind of move up. So by December, we should be about here, 30,000. That's what I see happening. And that's in direct correlation to the Dixie. The Dixie is probably going to continue to go up until it finds its level of resistance, and then it's going to fall back down again. Bitcoin is going to fall inversely to what I've just said about Dixie and then come back up. That's how I see everything playing out in Bitcoin. And the reason I'm telling you this is that you need to understand why did Bitcoin get to 27,400 and fall? What was the reason? And the reason is it hit the bull market support band. And that bull market support band, like I said a minute ago, it's like a sheet of ice you can't break. You break it, you get back, you get submerged. You attempt to break it again, you might crack it a little bit, but you'll come back down. And maybe on the third or the fourth attempt, you'll finally break that ice, and then you're free. You're not free home and dry, but then what you need to do is come back down and use it as support, and use that to then springboard to higher levels. So that's how I see Bitcoin playing out in the next, what have we got? October, November, the next 3 months. That's what I see happening. I don't think we're going to end the year at 23,000. I do think we are going to come down to those levels and then move back up. We've done that in the past. If you look at how Bitcoin has performed in previous Septembers, previous Octobers and previous Novembers, on the whole that will give you an indication of where Bitcoin should perform well in the next 3 months. Now we're going to move on to look at Chainlink. I did cover not too long ago, but we're going to go back over it again today because there's a lot more news coming out from Chainlink over the last few days, which has caused it to rally. I think we looked at the chart maybe Monday, but we're going to revisit it because since then there's been a lot more action. But first of all, I am just going to drop a box for those of you in chat, and then we'll carry on. So just give me 1 minute to do this. Remember, if you have any questions, ask. If you just want to say hello from Nigeria or whatever, just say hello in chat and we'll give you a shout out. Okay, that's dropped. There we go. Better. There we go. So that's now there. Remember, as well, we are new to certain platforms, so please make sure to give us a like and a follow wherever you are watching us from. So we stream pretty much every day. So Amimanush, Kokus, welcome. Hope you are well. EXUHE, how do you see making a lot of networks? Is that good for the industry? No and yes. If you think that most of the layer ones that are being created, not most, maybe 70 or 80% of the layer ones that are being created are probably going to fail and become ghost chains. The newer layer ones that are being created tend to be created for a particular purpose. So you're always going to have Ethereum as top dog for the foreseeable future anyway. You're always going to have Solana because of its NFT market. You're always going to have Cardano because of the way that the community works and how it's being integrated. Your other chains, you need to look at the activity on those chains and say, are they going to exist? So I don't think having lots of networks is a problem. What I do think is that over time we're going to need to have a whole lot more interoperability, and that interoperability can be a great example of interoperability, which I loved when I heard, was Charles Hoskinson was saying quite a few months ago now that he wanted to see Cardano staking help secure the Solana network, and in return for helping secure the Solana network, the Cardano stakers would receive Solana in return. Now that's a great idea. You could be a new layer one and you could use Ethereum or Cardano to help validate your network, so it would help you grow. So long term, I think what we could see in all industries, if you look at where the internet started, we started with 10,000 different shops, and now we have maybe 50 big ones, 30 big ones. A new industry will expand, and as it expands, some of those companies will be swallowed up by other companies. You know, we've got examples where chains have actually left to move to another chain. Solana recently, an entire project moved on to Solana. You could see a lot of that happening in the future. We've already seen NFT projects move chain. I think interoperability, for me, is what's needed more than anything else. But thank you for the question. Now, moving on to Chainlink. So Chainlink, I'm going to be completely honest, I hold a bag of Chainlink. As I said on Monday or Tuesday, it is not sexy. It is not sexy the same way that Quant is not sexy. But it gets things done which are important to the ecosystem. There we go. So, Chainlink, the Oracle, has expanded its ecosystem with the launch of its cross-chain interoperability protocol, TCIP, on the Arbitrum One mainnet. As detailed in an announcement shared by Chainlink, the integration can now give Arbitrum's developers access to the CCIP, which has been regarded as one of the most functional smart contract development environments. So, we also covered Arbitrum. So I think Tariq messaged me privately on Telegram to ask me about this, and I said we need to see some good news for Arbitrum. This is good news for Arbitrum. I think Arbitrum is a better chain than the price action is showing, and maybe it's because it hasn't managed to show too much positive news regarding the chain. Its price has been crushed. Stuff like this, where it's connecting up through Chainlink, this is only going to make it better. So since most developers in Web3 are in search of an avenue to transfer tokens, send messages, and initiate actions across various blockchains, the CCIP has proven to be the right tool to harbour all of these functionalities. Notably, developers will also gain access to high security for carrying out their tasks, as backed by Chainlink's robust oracles. Deploying on Arbitrum is a strategic push for Chainlink, which has placed a great emphasis on expansion in recent times. Chainlink has been silent for what seems like forever. The partnership will help both form a synergy that will largely contribute mutually to the growth and expansion of both blockchains. Now, what I would say about this is that I could have picked one of 10 articles today to cover on Chainlink, because all of the news coming out from Chainlink is incredibly positive. Incredibly positive. And I'm glad it's getting its time in the spotlight, because as I went through look at the price action. It's been in the same range since May 2022. Look at that, the same range. It's like a heartbeat. Hasn't moved. And as I said, what I would expect is, if you were going to make a good trade on Chainlink, you would sell, 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 sell. All of these would be the selling signals. Every time it comes down to this red fib level here, that is your buying opportunity. That's how Chainlink has worked now for 14 or 15 months. I'll leave a few of these on. Now, what would I expect to happen? I would expect Chainlink to do what it has been doing, and I would expect to come up here at $8.50, hit this exact same level of resistance as you've just seen, hit the same level of resistance, and guess what? The price is going to come straight down. Why? Because there is huge buying volume here. So I think we're going to get to $8.50. Now remember, this is not financial advice. This is just me interpreting the charts. So I think it's going to do what it's done in the past. It's going to come up here, and then it's going to get rejected, and it's going to come down here. Now, let me look at the scenario. Let's say you were to buy it today at $6.75 and it gets to $8.50. I don't know what that is, 20%, 25% profit. So let's say you sell here and the price does this. Does it matter? No, because you've bought that coin to make the 25% profit. It doesn't matter. If you've bought this coin here and it does this, and then we all know it's going to do this because it's done it for a year and a half, and we all know the news is bullish. So if we drop, you buy more. If we get to $8, maybe $8.49, $8.50, sell it all and wait for it to retrace. I said the same thing about Blazel. Blazel, I think, hit 20 cents. It's now retraced to about 18, and I've said wait for it to get back towards 12 and 14 cents, and then buy in for the next leg up. In this instance, we have such a track record of Chainlink range bound now for such a long period of time. It's not going to break down because it's adding so many more chains and so much more activity that how can it possibly stay this low and not retest 850? Now for me, I'm not one of these types of traders that will go in and buy that. I buy coins for the long term. My long term outlook for Chainlink and other coins I hold is probably the next 2 to 2.5 years. So I'm not going to do this, but if you were to pick a coin that appears to have followed a pattern for a long period of time where there are obvious buy and sell zones, then it's linked. It's Chainlink for me. So make sure to check link out. Remember, this is not financial advice, but it is possibly going to move higher. Now, what time is it? 25 past. We've actually done reasonably well for time. So we will move on to Sui, which is another coin we have covered on the channel. And Sui is a relatively new blockchain. It's been out probably 4 or 5 months. Morning, Safia. Thanks for coming. What I would say about Sui is, and what I said at the time when I reviewed it, is it needs adoption. Every single new layer 1 needs activity, or it needs to be integrated into the wider blockchain family, which is where something like Chainlink comes in. So Sui is new. They are all, I believe they're all ex-Meta. They've all left. They have a huge investment behind them. I think they've raised the largest investment into a layer 1 in history. I can't remember the amount. 200 or 300 million. It's a lot of money that's been invested in them. So is it too big to fail? No. Is it too big to not be a success? Is it going to be a success because of the 300 million? No. But the 300 million or 200 million gives it a huge opportunity to potentially become a success. Now, South Korean mobile developer NHN is building crypto games on Sui. Another notable publisher embraces blockchain gaming, this time on Sui in partnership with Meiston Labs. Meiston Labs, I believe, are the company behind Sui. So I believe these are some of the games. NHN has previously developed social casino games like Hangman Poker and mobile titles including Crusaders Quest and Guns Up Mobile War Strategy. The company claims that its games have over 37 million total users according to the announcement. Now, the firm plans to develop digital board games that leverage NFTs. We've read the NFT news in recent days about the fact that 95% of NFTs have gone to zero. I don't believe that is the case with gaming. I think if you are playing Hearthstone, Pokemon, games like this where they are card-based games or turn-based games, they lend themselves to NFTs very well because a card and an NFT are one and the same. you have rarity, and that rarity drives the price up of those cards. So in this instance, NFTs are perfectly suited to be used for turn-based games, card-based games, anything like that. So NHN's head of business development, Jin Lee, told Decrypt via email that the company is currently exploring ways that gamers can send items to each other as NFTs, as well as the possibility of crypto token rewards. When asked why NHN is developing blockchain games, Lee said that crypto-powered games are a paradigm shift. The existing gaming industry has gone through several new paradigm shifts, from the era of game copy sales to PC games, console games, social games, or from feature phone games to smartphone games. And don't forget, one of the biggest ones, of course, is moving from physically selling copies of a game to digital downloads. That has been one of the biggest shifts in gaming history. 10 years ago, you had to queue up outside a shop to buy Grand Theft Auto 3. Now, you can put it on pre-download, so it's available to play the same day. That's come with the advent of the internet, download speeds, whatever it might be. So we've had plenty of paradigm shifts in the past, which I would consider to be monumental. I don't believe that having cards as NFTs is a monumental paradigm shift. It might be to the companies themselves, but it's not really a big issue for me in terms of, I don't think this is a huge leap forward. The big leap forward will be when somebody like Epic Games comes out and says that all of its games across all of its different styles and genres are all going to have interoperable NFTs. So for example, you can have a skin from Fortnite that you can go and use in another one of the Epic Games stores, or you can take a skin from Fortnite and play on Blizzard's Call of Duty. That is the paradigm shift in gaming, not allowing you to hold NFT games. We want to create the best case in blockchain and games by combining the value created by the contents of games and the economy of in-game currency with tokenomics, Lee added. What excites me about building with NHN is what we are beginning to refer to as stickiness for users. It's a code Web3 as a whole has not managed to crack, with daily active users on the most popular chains barely topping 300k. Completely agree. I'm not going to read any more of that because we're going to run out of time. I have a lot to get through today, and we are not going to rush, but we are going to stick to our time. Let me do a quick update. There we go. Right, now what I would say before we get into this is, don't forget, give us a follow, give us a like, let us know you're watching, say hello in chat. We do a shout out. Daffy, I am good. I'm just here for you guys. If you've got any questions, ask away. We're currently going through Sui. Again, this is one of those days where nine days out of 10 we talk about tokens that I don't hold. But I like to talk, well, I like to let you know which tokens I hold. Now, as we can see, since the launch of Sui, the price has done nothing but absolutely tank. So we are in lower highs. That's where we are with Sui. So since June, when did it launch? It was only a few months ago, wasn't it? It launched in May. June, July, August, September. So it's only 4 months old. It launched here. Huge sell-off. Always the way. Now, we found some level of support down here. And that level of support has come at the 40-cent mark. I made a video about Sui. And one of the guys that commented on the video, he said, I'm not going to buy this until it hits 40 cents. I don't know who he was, but he is a clairvoyant. He is a genius, because as we see here, I think it bounced off exactly 42 cents. So he would have got in and got himself a nice chunk of Sui, fairly near the bottom. What would I say about this? A little bit like Arbitrum. So if you bring up the Arbitrum chart, you're going to see something similar, which is just constantly lower highs. Lower highs. Sell pressure is just pushing the coin down. What we need is to bring buy pressure in. The article I've just read is talking about what's coming up next for SUI, and that is game integration. I'm not trying to come on here and tell you to buy a coin that's already gone up 200%. I could quite easily sit here and show you the top gainers of the last 24 hours and tell you to buy, right? Because I'm talking about the coins which have already spiked, which have already hit levels of resistance and are going to come down. I'm going to go over the Bluezil chart in a minute just to show you what I mean. I'm picking out projects which I think you can trade on and make money on. Again, this is not financial advice, it's just my opinion. SUI is going to get traction by the end of the next bull run, which is 2 years away. Is 44 cents a good price for the coin? Let's start with that question. So if we go over to CoinMarketCap and we have a look, we have an incredibly small circulating supply of 8%. So it doesn't have an awful lot of it in circulation. I covered this and I said that this is not good for any token to have such a low amount circulating. However, if you read the roadmap, if you read the unlocking period for the coin, there should be a very staggered approach to those coins being released. There has been some controversy as well about the founders actually unlocking the tokens before the time and selling them, which has also caused the price to go down. So that's some controversy. However, the market cap is 350 million. The market cap of this token could potentially, let's say for argument's sake, hit 3.5 billion. So we could be looking at a 10x from SUI in the next bull run. Remember, the smaller the market cap, the higher the multiples this can have. Could this hit $2? Absolutely. Could this hit $10? That's a bit of a push. That would give it a $7 billion market cap. Now, the reason I say it's a bit of a push is that we are going to have another layer one, like we had with Solana in the previous bull run. We are going to have another layer one have a massive run up. Now, we don't know whether it's going to be Arbitrum. We don't know whether it's going to be SUI. We don't know which layer one that is. But going back to the question, is 44 cents a good price for SUI? Yes. Could the price of SUI go lower? Yes, absolutely it can. I've already talked about Bitcoin potentially hitting $20,000. That's a 20% drop from where it is now. The chances are that all altcoins are going to follow. But I can't just sit here and say don't buy any coins because everything's going to go to 50% of its value because of Bitcoin. I'm trying to give you some examples. So we could see something like this over the next 4 months, 5 months. We could see an absolute capitulation. I haven't done any fib levels on this or anything like that. But we could go a lot lower. Maybe we hit 30 cents, maybe we bottom here. It does depend on Bitcoin. But if we do have a run up, there is a very solid line of support here at 60 cents. That'd give you a 33% return. So have a think about SUI. I'm not saying buy it. Go and do the same research I've done. Go and read the articles. Go and look at the price. Go and look at the white paper. I'm not shilling this. I'm not sponsored by SUI to go out and promote their token. I hold a small bag of SUI because I believe that in the long term, this could be a very good chain. The people behind it, the investment, and who they're bringing on board, Sui could be something worth looking at. Now we're going to start to look at some news. We've got no time at all left, which is good. That's what I like to see. Get to the end of the show, have no time left whatsoever, and then have to rush through. But we will carry on. Let me just get through. I'm going to have to restart my apps to read your questions. Give me a second. While I'm doing this and restarting the app, make sure to hit the like and follow button. Remember, hit the like button once if you like crypto. Hit the like button 5 times if you love crypto. A very simple decision for you to make. Like or love. Let's get back in. I'm in now. Okay. Let me just drop this and then we'll crack on with the news. And then we'll get to the quiz. I don't mind overrunning today. It's a Friday. I've got coffee. I don't have to do a lot for the rest of the afternoon, so we can probably go till about 1:15 quite easily. 1 second. Let me just drop that box. There we go. Hello, anonymous user. Thank you for saying hello. I can't see any of the messages. I had to restart. Good morning, Tariq, or good afternoon, Tariq. Good afternoon, Jules, Finn, Damika. Welcome back. I can start to see names now. I've restarted the apps. Nice of you to all join us. Antalya, I don't know how to do that yet. I'm going to speak to the powers that be and ask them very nicely about red packets. I don't know how it all works yet. We've only been live on here for a month. We haven't been live that long yet. So we're still working out how everything works over there. But once we've figured it out, we will be able to get you to drop your ID, and then we'll be able to enter you for the red packets that we can give out. So if you give us another week or two, we'll find out what we're supposed to do. So Bitcoin ETFs or not, don't expect a sexy crypto bull run. Concordium founder, well, he is a proper stick in the mud, isn't he? Experts remain divided on when the next bull run market is set to kick off, but they all agree on one thing: the next big rally won't look like the last one. So Lars Sear Christensen, I wonder if he's any relation to Lars Christian Andersen, founder of the enterprise blockchain Concordium, told Cointelegraph in a recent interview, even if you do get a Bitcoin rally, I don't think you should naturally assume that everything is going to rally with it. Okay, so what he's referring to here is that even if Bitcoin goes up 500%, don't expect every altcoin to go up at the same price. I totally agree with this. I said this, in fact, a couple of days ago on the stream. Just give me 1 second to top up my coffee. There are going to be altcoins that did incredibly well in the last bull run that are not going to do as well in this bull run. A perfect example of that is Solana. Solana hit $250. My prediction for Solana in the next bull run is potentially $100, $95, $100. The reason being is not everything is in the same condition that it was 4 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever it might be. So he is correct on that assumption. Does that necessarily mean that Ethereum and a lot of the older altcoins are going to rally on the back of it too? I think that's nearly certainly not going to happen. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think if you are going to get altcoins to run, I would put my bottom dollar on Ethereum being one of those altcoins that is going to run. Don't forget, it is proof of stake. It is deflationary. It is the biggest deflationary coin in the world. there are 300,000 Ethereum less than there were in January. So do I expect a supply shock on Ethereum? Absolutely. Why? Because more and more Ethereum every single day is being locked up, which means less and less Ethereum on exchanges. And that causes a supply shock, the same way that the halving is going to cause a supply shock for Bitcoin. So what happens is, you turn the tap off on Bitcoin in April next year. Then you have all the speculation on the price goes up, the price comes down. And then 6 to 12 months after that halving comes the supply shock. Ethereum's had its own supply shock, but it hasn't run because it's still being seen as the same Ethereum that was proof of work. And people don't realise that we're going to run out of Ethereum. They said it themselves only 2 weeks ago. There's not going to be enough Ethereum for the transactions. What happens then? The price is going to go up. I think Ethereum is going to have a good bull run in 2025. I think Bitcoin is going to have a good bull run in 2025. XRP will, because of the court case. Cardano always has a good run. Chainlink will have a good bull run. But other coins, such as Solana, might not keep up. Some of the lesser coins won't keep up. Some of them might not even 2 or 3x. So he's right in that assumption. The only reason corporate types need a crypto asset is in order to execute what they want to do on a given blockchain. It's very clear that you need to be aware that they're not in desperate need for a given crypto to increase in significant value. Don't agree with that. The drawdown from the all-time high chart and market value to realized value ratio suggests we're in the final stages of accumulation after a precursor to a bull market. DeFi tokens are risky. We know all about this. We know about this. We don't need to read any of this out. Now, I'll read this section out. It's too early to say that it's the start of a bull market in crypto. This would depend on the macro environment and hinge on whether or not central banks are willing to end their rate hike cycles to provide enough liquidity to the markets. Tang is spot on. Who is Tang? A market analyst for CMC Markets. He's completely accurate. She is completely accurate. Excuse me. It's Tina. Sorry, I thought it was Tintang. Not Tina. Right, Tina is absolutely spot on. So, as I was saying before about the hybrid show, where we look at an article and then we look at the charts, Bitcoin does not live in a bubble. But also, Bitcoin doesn't necessarily have to tie itself to the Dixie or the S&P 500. It does have its own momentum. If we get another black swan, everything's going to crash. If we have interest rates falling, if the Dixie falls, if a pro-crypto president comes in, if we get ETFs, if we get 7 of those 10 things, we're going to have a good bull run. Irrespective of what else happens, we're going to have a good bull run. Because people forget, Gary Gensler is appointed by Joe Biden. Joe Biden is anti-crypto. If we got, for example, Ron DeSantis in America, who is pro-crypto, anti-CBDC, he will put a pro-crypto head of the SEC in charge. Then everything changes. ETFs will be approved for Ethereum, or altcoin baskets, whatever it might be. They'll all get approved. Interest rates are going to fall. People will have more money. Liquidity is freed up. Liquidity is freed up. That gives risk on assets more liquidity. Biggest risk on asset that we care about is Bitcoin. So even if those few things happen, we're still going to see $100,000 Bitcoin. So she is completely correct in this. We are going to have a sexy bull run. It's just a different sexy bull run to the last one we had. So when you're making your bags that you think are going to run in the next bull run, don't necessarily base it on the previous all-time high or the previous cycle. Have a look at newer chains, newer coins, newer layer 2s, new layer 1s. Look at the new ones coming up that haven't had that blow off top. Remember, We have price action for Solana that goes back now to a $250,000 Solana. We have that, sorry, $250 Solana. We have that price action already. But let's take, for example, Arbitrum. Let's say Arbitrum becomes the darling of the markets. Once it enters discovery mode, price discovery mode, we don't know where it's going to get to. We then have to look at the market cap and say, would it hit 10 billion? Would it hit 20 billion? So always look at the newer projects that are coming on board, and not necessarily, I mean, it's always good to have top 10. Always good to have the top 10. But always look at the newer ones. And when you do your risk management and portfolio management, throw in a few new layer ones. That's why I have a small bag of Sui, for example. But I also have Link, XRP, Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I have the ones I think are going to have a good run. Now, let's move on. We are now way over time. Mohammed, my day is pretty good, thanks. Thank you for asking. Right, let me drop another box. We seem to be going through these boxes very quickly today. Let me drop another box and then we'll crack on and talk about the FCA in the UK. And I think... oh, we've still got two. Let's have a look. You know what we'll do? We'll skip this one. We'll go on to whale hunting because it's a more interesting article. 1 second. There we go. That box is dropped. Perfect. That is done. Let's move on to the whale hunting. We're 5 minutes over. So we're going to skip that one article and move on to this news about so I actually covered this article a few days ago. Long and short of it is that 95% of NFTs are now worthless. Absolutely worthless. And that's actually less than what I've suggested on this channel in the past. In the past, I have said 99% of NFT projects are a waste of time, worthless, and you're just going to lose your money. And I say to you nearly every day, the motto of this channel, we are not here to make you rich. We are here to stop you from becoming poor. That's our job. And we do that by highlighting scams and telling you to avoid scams. Telling you to avoid storing your crypto on hot wallets like MetaMask. Telling you to avoid buying NFTs in pictures of rocks and Trump NFTs. That's what we are here to do. Crypto is like the Wild West at the minute. And unless you know what you're doing, if you are new to crypto, for example, keep your money on a sizable exchange. Turn on all the security features, 2FA, your mobile phone authentication, your anti-phishing code, turn it all on. Keep your money safe if you don't know what you're doing. If you do know what you're doing, go and buy yourself a ledger or a Trezor, put it in cold storage, don't put it anywhere near the light of day for the next 2 years when you come to sell it. Right? They are your two options. And I don't care what crypto maxis say about not your keys, not your wallet. I agree with that, but the amount of money being stolen from people not knowing what they're doing. Look at what's he called? Mark, the famous guy from Dragon's Den in America. He had $870,000 stolen from him a few days ago. There are countless examples. Seth Rogen had his Bored Ape stolen. Bill Murray had his wallet drained. It's madness, absolute madness, when people tell you to take your money off exchanges and put them into MetaMask. It's absolute madness. Keep your money on an exchange and lock it up as best you can with security or cold storage. Now, in this instance, an Ethereum whale, unfazed by prices, pulls $8.1 million of Ethereum from an exchange and buys NFTs. Ethereum is under pressure and has dropped below $1,600. However, on-chain data shows that a crypto whale, OXB154, sounds like a Star Wars robot, but there we go, has moved more coins from an exchange to a non-custodial wallet. $8.1 million, which is how many? 5,000 ETH. Okay, so what did he buy, or what did she buy? What did they buy? Records show this is not the first time the whale moved funds. On September the 6th, the investor withdrew nearly 10,000 ETH worth $16 million. Less than 2 weeks earlier, he moved 22,340 ETH worth $41.2 million. Two there, right. So where is this NFT? Oh, the whale has been active on the NFT scene, looking at historical purchases. Over time, the investor has held over 100 NFTs with an average spent of 0.26 ETH. The latest purchase was on September the 21st. The investor has been actively accumulating NFTs since early April 2023 and has spent 35 ETH. So this whale has moved 5,000 ETH and spent 35 of it on NFTs. It's not even pocket change. Right, what a waste of an article that was. So this whale hasn't been buying NFTs. They've bought pocket change worth. Well, I'm glad we skipped to that article because that was a bit of a waste of time. But it doesn't matter. We're 10 minutes late, so we can move on. Remember, wherever you are, say hello, drop a comment, drop a follow, do whatever you can. We do also, remember, we stream every day. So we are streaming tomorrow from the studio. So if you want to see myself and Hollywood in person, make sure to watch the stream tomorrow. We'll be live at 11 o'clock Central European time, 10 o'clock UK time. I need to work out what it is in the other one, the universal one, but we'll work that out. Just remember that we stream pretty much every day. Right, let's crack on with the quiz. So the quiz is not meant to be anything but a bit of fun. Don't think I'm trying to catch you out. I am certainly not. But what I do want you to do is I want you to play along, have a guess, join in. And we always start with some easy questions and then move on to some trickier ones. We did play chicken quiz for a few weeks and then we've stopped. So we're probably going to do a chicken quiz tomorrow, which is a bit of fun. If you've never played chicken quiz with us before, tune in tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock and you can play chicken quiz with us. It is a bit of fun. Remember, don't take this too seriously. The first question: is Ethereum proof of stake or proof of work? All you have to do is type POS or POW into chat. Good morning, Damika. Ranjava, good morning, Alex. Morning, everybody. Is Ethereum POS or POW? $20 seconds left. How many of you got this right? $35 of you so far. Remember, wherever you are watching, drop a comment. Let me know what you think the answer is. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up a nicer screen than that. I'm actually going to bring up TradingView and show you Blazel, which I did promise earlier in the stream. And I know Marlene, if Marlene is watching, she's a big fan as well. Go to crypto. Load this one. There we go. Now, what I drew some days ago was I drew my buy level for Blazell. And at the time I drew it, we were at 21 cents. And I suggested we look at a buy price of about 12 to 13 cents. And as we can see, we're still coming down. We could find support at 18 cents and then move back up. But I won't be buying this coin until it's down to 12 cents. That's Blazell. I'll leave that there. 43 of you got that right. Congratulations. Addy Crypto is here today. Excalibur, Javid, Juan, Damika, Adil, good morning. Munaya, Franjiva, Tariq. Tariq was nearly shot by the RNG monkey. IP man, welcome back. Congratulations. You all got that right. It is, of course, proof of stake. It was proof of work. No longer. It moved to proof of stake and became deflationary pretty much immediately. So, next question. I will start to think of some really, really tricky questions for the regulars, because the regulars know all of these answers and always get them right straight away. I am going to start to think of some really tricky questions for you. But for now, these are fairly straightforward questions. Okay. So, what network did Justin Sun create? What network did Justin Sun create? That's the question. It is a 4-letter answer. Do not give me the name of the token in chat. That's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. How are we doing? There's a few seconds left. Most of you got this right. 42 correct answers. What network did Justin Sun create? The correct answer was Tron, which also, coincidentally, is one of my favourite films of all time. Tron 2, not so good as Tron. They're bringing out a third Tron. Don't know when. But if you've never seen Tron, what a film. Adil, congratulations. Franjiva, Crypto Mafia, nice to see you again. Bronus, Eagle Wings, thank you everybody for coming. Next, Ali Raza, send more please. Ali Raza, this is a self-finance channel. If you want, you can donate to us. Press the tips button. Happy for you to tip us. But remember, all of these tips and everything we do, the red boxes, the red packets, whatever they're called, everything comes out of our pocket at the minute. So unless you want to tip us, this is supposed to be a bit of fun. It's not supposed to be about giving you lots of crypto. I'm going to ask you a couple of Litecoin questions now. First question, is Litecoin proof of work or proof of stake? Is Litecoin proof of work or proof of stake? Wherever you're watching from, drop a comment, let us know what you think. And I'll tell you if you're right or not. Litecoin, is it proof of work or proof of stake? The majority of you are getting this right. Munaya, I don't know. You should have it. If it's not appearing for you, try restarting the app. That's what I would suggest. Restart the app and see what that does. See if that fixes it for you. So 59 correct answers. Then Roro, congratulations. Florian, Adi, Zonta, Juan, Murshid, Master, congratulations to all. Talik, Wadwig, D-Roll, congratulations. The answer is, of course, proof of work. POS. Sorry, POW. That's the answer. It's proof of work. Right, okay. Next question. Remember, answers have to be lowercase. Now, I'm going to make this slightly less boxes because I don't think everybody's going to get this right. What is the first name of the founder of Litecoin? What is the first name of the founder of Litecoin? All you have to do is put his name into chat. What is the first name of the founder of Litecoin? You're close. Cronus is right. Cronus was right. He's not called Charles. But you're very close. He's not called Charles. And he's not called Charlie's. In fact, I will, if this decides to work for me, which it isn't doing. This is the gentleman. There we go. So the answer was Charlie. Charlie Lee is a computer scientist best known as the creator of Litecoin. So he wasn't called Charles. He wasn't called Charlie's. He was called Charlie. Adi, Adil, Lucky, Crypto Mafia, well done to you all. I should have made less boxes and then you'd have won really big on that one. Next question. That was a bit trickier, that one, to be honest. But at least you now know Charlie Lee. And the one thing I remember him doing, I think he sold it all. I think he sold every last Litecoin he had and said that he wanted to retract himself from, not retract himself from the project, but sell his Litecoin so he wasn't influenced by holding any. Which to me sounds like somebody that wanted to make a decent payday before leaving. So, next question. Maybe I'll ask you an easy one now because that was a bit tricky. We don't like too tricky questions. This is an easy question. I'm expecting most of you to get this right. What is the first name of the owner of X? What is the first name, not his surname? What is the first name of the owner of X? All you have to do is answer that question. Is this working? There we go. That took a little while to actually pop up and work. We've got about 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. Before we finish for the day. Remember, we are back tomorrow. First thing, 11 o'clock, we will be live. 47 correct answers. Florian, Chest, Murshid, Adil, well done. I'm actually starting to cook in this room. For some reason, it's just suddenly gone incredibly hot. So I will do one more question and then call it a day. We've been going for 1 hour and 10 minutes now. I think that's enough of listening to my voice for a day, don't you? Okay. This is the easiest question in the world. So for those of you that are on Twitter quite a lot, you will see CZ posts a lot. The question is, what number is CZ's FUD number? So CZ holds up his hand, holds up a number of digits. What is CZ's number for FUD? That's your final question of the day. Super easy question, expecting most of you to get that right. So I am expecting many, many, many right answers for this one. Yeah, there we go. This is going to be the biggest answer of the day, I think. Most people are going to get this right. So after this, we'll do the housekeeping, and then I will put the stream on the closing credits, and I will see you all tomorrow. 62 correct answers. 64. Plenty of you getting that right. 65, biggest number of correct answers of the day. C-roll, well done. Adil, Totti, Addy, Anonymous, congratulations, you all have won. Now, there is a couple of announcements to make. If you check the description underneath the stream, you will see that we have a new link to a new way of contacting us. So make sure after the stream to go and follow us on all of our socials that you can find. We are Crypto Warehouse. We are everywhere as Crypto Warehouse. Type us into Google, you'll find us everywhere. We are back tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central European time, which is 10 o'clock in the UK, probably about 7 or 8 in the morning in the States, maybe 4 or 5 in the afternoon if we go to the East. So make sure to give us a follow. I'm going to add that stream after the show, so you'll be able to find it. What else is there to say? I'll be joined tomorrow by Hollywood. We'll probably do the same projects we were going to do yesterday. Yesterday's stream was a write-off. It didn't work properly. I didn't make it back in time. So yesterday's stream, we're probably going to do that tomorrow. So thank you all for coming. Thank you to the regulars. Thank you, Chappie. Thank you, everybody. I will see you all. I'm going to drop a box as well in a second. I will see you all in the morning with Hollywood for yet another crypto stream. Fingers crossed you enjoy it. And remember, get in touch with us if you've got any suggestions, if you've got any coins you want us to review, if you've got any projects you want us to take a look at. Find us wherever you are, wherever we are, sorry, and just drop us a comment and we will get back to you when we can. So thanks everybody. See you all soon.